It's the last week of January, and I've got bushels of baskets, goals galore, and some Royals running really rapidly. Welcome to another edition of Royal Recap. I'm Sports Information Director Dale Eng, bringing you highlights from the last week of Bethel University athletics. We'll get things going with some men's basketball highlights, as they hosted a pair of games at home this last week. St. John's was in town on Wednesday night, and the Royals took a 4-point halftime lead thanks to this three-pointer from Daniel Baugh, who was 4 for 6 from behind the arc in the first half. But the Johnnies came out of the break and quickly went ahead by as many as 16 before Rob Lang trimmed that deficit to just 8 points with this jumper, but the Royals never got any closer in an 80-67 loss. However, the main highlight of the night was that on this shot, Nate Robertson reached 1,000 career points between his 2 years at UW River Falls and these last 2 here at Bethel University. Robertson was presented with a game ball just before the St. Mary's game on Saturday as the Royals looked to get back on the winning track in the last half of the MIAC season. Bethel began to pull away, going up by 11 points with this steal and layup here by Rob Lang, and then by 15 points with this three-pointer by Chris Vavra. In the second half, the Royals were up 77-66 after this layup by Nate Robertson, but then saw their lead start to dwindle down to 1 point with just 28 seconds remaining. Daniel Baugh made a pair of free throws to push that lead back out to 3 with 20 seconds to go. Then things got a little scary toward the end as the Cardinals were able to fire off 2 three-pointers, but the Royals were able to hang on to win 82-79. Nate Robertson scored a career-high 27 points and grabbed 11 rebounds for his third double-double of the season, and he was named the MIAC Men's Basketball Athlete of the Week for his efforts.
I feel that coaches have done a good job keeping our legs fresh, and so I've been able to outwork a lot of the guys, especially on rebounds and stuff like that, and get to a lot of loose balls, but teammates are giving me good opportunities to score inside.
Greg Meyer also talked about Saturday's win.
I feel like we just came in with the mentality that this was our court, this is our house, and we just wanted to get another MIAC win.
Bethel has now won 3 of its last 4 conference games heading into McAllister on Wednesday and Concordia on Saturday. In women's basketball, on Saturday, Bethel took on the St. Mary's Cardinals at home and began to build a lead toward the end of the first half with this shot by Taylor Sheely, and then a jumper here from Christy Nye with time running out. Bethel pushed that lead out to 19 points and never looked back in a 58-45 win. Sheely led the Royals with 14 points, while Nye had 12. Shanna Greatek came up big on the defensive end with 6 steals and 8 defensive rebounds in the win. Bethel has won 2 of its last 3 and 4 out of its last 6 heading into a home game with McAllister on Wednesday night and then a road game with Concordia on Saturday afternoon. Shifting gears to men's hockey, the Royals were also in action against St. Mary's this last weekend. Here, Lucas Jorgensen puts Bethel up 1-0 early in the first period before the Cardinals came back to score a pair of goals in the next 8 minutes. Jake Kaleja ties the game up here at 2 with his 7th goal of the season. Then St. Mary's went back out in front 4-2. Jake Cogler gave Bethel some momentum heading into the third period by scoring his 3rd goal of the season with just 40 seconds remaining in the second. Cogler then pulled Bethel into a tie with this goal, assisted by Jack Paul and Christian Fogarty.
We know how to keep ourselves in the games. When we get behind, we're never too low, but when we're up, we try to never be too high.
Despite a Bethel goal being called off late in the third period, Jack Paul made the next one stick with less than 3 minutes left, and the Royals won 5-4. Mr. Two First Names talked about the game afterward.
You know, we just went out there, and I think we, a tough first 2 periods, but we came out there and mashed them in the third and played just as physical, and we were able to put one away.
The next night, oh man, the next night, the game wasn't even remotely close. Mason Swenson puts Bethel up 1-0. Then Jake Kaleja scores his 8th goal of the season at 11:51 into the first period. And that's all the Royals would need in a 9-1 win on the road against St. Mary's. Here's an abbreviated version of the next 7 goals by the Royals. For those keeping tabs, that was Malcolm Richards, Jake Kaleja, 2 from Jack Paul, 1 from Lucas Jorgensen, and then Josh Simi and Corey Grandner to round out the scoring on Saturday night. Great job, guys, but try to save some for the rest of the season. All right, in women's hockey, Bethel also took on St. Mary's last weekend. On Friday night, Sarah Kartak broke a scoreless tie late in the first period, and then Molly Eagles scored midway through the second period to give the Royals what they would need for a 2-1 win. Then on Saturday, Bethel fell behind 2-0 until late in the third period. That's when Allison Papko scored her second goal of the season to get the Royals back within a goal. But an empty netter by the Cardinals with 23 seconds left was the final nail in the coffin for Bethel in a 3-1 loss. The Royals will take on St. Olaf this weekend. Finally, in track and field, the Royals headed out to Menominee, Wisconsin last weekend to participate in the UW Stout Open. Taylor Furta earned an NCAA provisional time in the 55-meter hurdles at 7.71 seconds, while Dan Greeno also met provisional standards and earned MIAC Athlete of the Week honors by setting a new school record in the mile run with a time of 4:15.99. The 4x400-meter relay team also ran well together, while Joel Quick and Eric Rohde had strong individual performances in the 400-meter dash. On the women's side, Marie Borner won the 800-meter run by more than 5 seconds with a time of 2:17. That's it for this week's edition of Royal Recap. Be sure to join me next week when I'll have more hockey and basketball highlights. And as always, be sure to check out athletics.bethel.edu for the latest stories, stats, and schedules. Thanks for watching. I'm Sports Information Director Dale Eng.